All right, so this video is going to be a lot of information, but it's going to be really helpful for you because we are going to be starting our unit on night, and we have a couple assignments that we'll be referencing for the next 3-4 weeks up until the end of the quarter. So I want to explain to you how those assignments are going to work, how you can find them, and what you're supposed to be doing on them. So if this is our Schoology page, just like every other folder, there's going to be a calendar, the Zoom link for distance learning students. These are your day-to-day assignments. And what's different is there's a new folder called My Digital Notebook and Classwork Packet. So if we were in traditional school and you were in class every day, I might have you keep a physical notebook, right? And we would take notes in it someday, and we would do practice in some days. And at the end of the unit, you would turn your notebook in for me. However, you all know that we're in a hybrid learning model, so notebooks really aren't a thing anymore. So instead, what you're going to be doing is working in something called My Digital Notebook. So this is going to be an ongoing assignment. It's going to go all the way until the end of the quarter, and you're not going to submit it until the end of the quarter. So every week when you check into Schoology, this folder will be present. So next week in week 7, you'll see the same thing. So if you toggle down, let's start with My Digital Notebook. So again, this is just taking the place of what we would do in class if you had a 3-spiral notebook, right, with paper in it. So when you click on it, you'll see here, I think it shows up here for you guys, but it's gonna look like this. It's actually a slideshow presentation, but it's made to be like each page or each slide is a page. So you'll see that it looks like a little notebook here, right? Trying to get you in the feel of it. The second page are the instructions. So number 1, here's the first place that you can find your PDF. Some of you have the book in a physical copy, and some of you did not go get it. So here's the first place that you can always find your PDF. There's some instructions about the font size you can use. Please do your own work. And here's where the instructions really start for you guys. At the end of each week, I am going to go into Schoology and see how you're doing in progress. We're reading this book for 3 weeks, although you guys have an extra week for Thanksgiving. But I'm not assigning you anything to do on that week, so our novel unit really comes down to 3 weeks. So our book is 9 short chapters. For each week, you're going to read 3 chapters and do a couple activities. So week 6 is going to be all of the yellow highlighted titles. Week 7 will be blue, and week 8 is going to be pink. So after you look through the instructions and you open up the text here, you'll see that the next page of your digital notebook is the reading calendar. So again, week 6, you're going to be reading chapters 1 through 3, week 7, 4 through 6, and week 8, 7 through 9. Again, here's another place that you can find your PDF book, and this page is really important as well if you're going to be an audiobook listener. Each of these links is going to take you to YouTube for each chapter. Each one is between 10 and maybe 25-30 minutes, but you're more than welcome to do this while you look at the book. You can just listen to it. Your reading preference is yours. So again, just for week 6, you're working on 1 through 3. So what you're going to need to do is look for the yellow highlighted activities. So if you're just scrolling over here on the left-hand side, you'll see yellow, yellow, yellow. So there's 3 activities you're doing. The first one is journals. So you're going to be writing a journal once a week on one of these topics. So week 1 is possessions. So on the instruction, you'll see that there's a whole section here about possessions. Your job is to choose one of these questions, just one, and write an entire page on that question. So you'll see some instructions. Journals need to be a full page, maximum font, right? And you're choosing one. So let's say you answer number 2, what are your most prized possessions and why? You would come onto your journal page and you would start typing. It's 1 full page, and that's your journal for the week. So in the next weeks, you'll write on relationships and on beliefs, values, and challenges, but that'll be later. After you do your journal, your second task is to do vocab. So there's a lot of words in this story that are going to be unfamiliar to you, and your job in chapters 1 through 3 is to find 5 words that you don't know, and you're going to write the word, write the sentence from the book, and then you're going to look up the definition. So for chapters 1 through 3, you have 5 words here that you're filling in. You'll do the same thing in week 7 and in week 8. And then finally, your last task is a dialectical journal. So in this one, you're going to be pulling quotes from the book and writing your questions, connections, why you think that's important, almost like annotating in a journal form. And then you'll do it for the rest of the rest of the quarter. So overall for week 6, chapters 1 through 3, you're going to find your audios here. You'll find your book here. You have 3 activities. One is a journal, one is vocab, and one is a dialectical journal, or like quotes and annotations. Okay, so that is our digital notebook. Again, it's going all the way through the end of the quarter, so you'll see that the due date isn't until Sunday, December 20th. Our last day of the quarter is December 18th, so you'll have a couple more days just to finish up what you needed to and turn it in for grading. The due dates as we move forward will become a little bit more clear. This week, you're doing a lot of prep work for the book, so your first week of digital notebook will technically not be due until the week after Thanksgiving. So keep that in mind. Again, it's under the week 6 folder. The second part of this is your classwork packet. So because we're reading the book, I pretty much know what we're doing for the rest of the quarter. So you're going to have this classwork packet. If you're someone who comes to campus, you will be getting this packet in paper form, but I wanted to upload it onto Schoology, 1, for our distance learning only students, of course, and 2, in case you lose your packet, that you have something to reference going through for the quarter. So the instructions here, you'll be receiving this in class. These are classwork assignments and won't be submitted to Schoology. So what we do in class is going to be really important to prep you for the final, but these aren't going to be graded assignments. It's just going to carry us through the book and through writing body paragraphs. So again, these won't be graded, but we'll be working on them and looking at them in class together. If you lose your paper packet, you can use this, and these assignments will greatly benefit you on the final at the end of the quarter. So go ahead and scroll through here, but again, you don't need to do any of this on your own. This is what we're doing in class. These packets will be given to you, and you can keep them in class or you can take them home with you and bring them back. All the way at the end, there's even some information on what our finals are going to be. So please read through that. And of course, we're going to cover this more on the day that you're in class. This is just a little preview of what's to come.